Okay, so I like to ask questions in my head and try to figure out the answers and see if there is a better way. It's just my nature. And recently, actually for a very long time, I've had the question of why are we doing short range of motion oblique twists? And I'll demonstrate a couple of exercises. In my head, it makes no sense. And I want to pose it to you. Does it make sense, or do you have a reason why you use it in your own personal workouts, or do you have your clients do it? I never do some of these exercises, and I'll explain why. So, I don't understand when we are doing rotation trunk twists, why our movement looks like this. And I see this all the time. Don't just answer it with, well, they're not good trainers. This is what they do. I don't get this. We will feel it in our shoulders. We'll feel it in our bicep from having shoulder flexion. We will feel our core brace, but we're not getting any rotation. Now remember, our external obliques are the cores, the trunk's #1 stabilizer. They will keep you in place while they're bracing, but we're not really working any rotation. So if you think about your hands and your chest having a movement relationship, while we're actually doing rotation, we should maintain the relationship between our hands and our chest. So if we're going up, look at how I maintain this relationship. If we're going down, look at how I maintain this relationship. Side to side, I'm maintaining this relationship. As I work through full range of motion, I will get the heel release, which will allow me to get farther into my range of motion. But if you notice, even when I go full range of motion, I maintain that chest to hands relationship. Even with the heel release, it allows my range of motion to increase. That's what happens. So that's one of the questions I keep posing in my head is, why do people think that this is working their obliques effectively? We're simply working our shoulders and biceps, getting a little bit of bracing. Now, secondarily that I pose in my head is, why do we think these exercises are effective when we're barely using any range of motion? So we combine a couple exercises together and they become popular to work our trunk. The first is a lunge with a rotation. I personally think it's horrible. Any physical therapists out there, tell me if this is not bad for the spine as we plant the pelvis in place and then rotate across it. How is that not grinding on our pelvis or our sacrum? So we do lunge, rotation, or we do lunge, rotation. Yeah, I know my lunge form was kind of bad. This is not about a lunge demonstration, but we rotate or we rotate. My question is, if it's biomechanically improper or unsafe to do for the lower back and hips, the pelvis also, why is it also not bad? Because our range of motion is poor. If you notice, we can only get about right here. However, when we are in this position standing through proper heel release, our range of motion is almost a complete 180. So why do we allow for poor range of motion? We would not allow a bicep curl to be like this. We would call out or try to correct this improper range of motion. On squats, there is this. This is not a good squat. So why is the range of motion of this okay? So why are we doing this and we accept this as a range of motion for our oblique movement? I don't get that. I can't figure out why that is okay. Maybe you have the answer. If you do, leave a comment. Let me know why that is acceptable. Secondarily, another exercise that I don't get because of the poor range of motion is the Russian twist or the Mason twist in a seated position. So I will have my trusty assistant right in between me. And here's what we do. We take the medicine ball and we do two things. Either we do the first problem, which is just dropping the hands down, working only the shoulders. I'm bracing because I'm in a slightly incline slash decline slash leaning position. So I will get abdominal contraction. I'll get bracing. I'll get the external obliques stabilizing. But notice how my trunk never rotates. I'm getting no trunk rotation. Okay? Then, or more likely, we will get some rotation. We'll maintain the relationship, but our range of motion will be poor. We will only work through a quarter of our potential range of motion. If I allowed myself, I could rotate all the way around, but this is a popular exercise for people when they say, hey, we're going to work our core, and yet we allow for this poor range of motion, or we allow for misconstruing shoulder work as abdominal core work. I don't understand it. I don't get why that is accepted, and I don't get why good trainers, also bad trainers, and just general fitness enthusiasts have come to believe that it is acceptable or good to do. So hopefully you have some answers for me, because in my head, I haven't figured it out, and I've been doing this for a long time. I still don't know why that is acceptable. For the same reason doing short range of motion push-ups is not acceptable, or any other exercise that we do that is a poor range of motion. Why do we allow for poor range of motion oblique work? So, in reviewing, why do we allow this? Just using the shoulders and the bicep to do all the work. That's one thing that's pondering in my head. And why do we allow poor range of motion with oblique work? That's the second thing currently being pondered in my head, and they've been pondered for a long time. So, I'm asking, why is this acceptable? All right, that's all I got for you today. This is our fitness tip. Maybe it is a tip, maybe it's just a question. Personally, with my clients, we always work through full range of motion. We don't do the lunge with rotation, but when we do oblique work, we create the gravitational field of always maintaining that relationship through full range of motion. That's all I got for you today. Spencer Aiken. You can find me on anything social media wise. My website is spenceraiken.com. YouTube is youtube.com/Spencer Aiken. Let us know. Hopefully you have an answer for us. Thank you very much.